Well, certainly at the beginning of Hazel's entrance, there's a lot of funny stuff. There's some great one-liners and she has some great put-downs. I've got to say, without giving anything away, as the story progresses, there's not always going to be lots of laughs and fun. There's some fairly miserable stuff in store for her. But at the moment, yes, she's certainly full of life.
They make us fall in love with you and then something horrible is going to happen. You'll either end up under a tram or you'll get ill or something will happen where you'll break our hearts.
Something sad will happen. You know, that's life in kind of, you know, continuing dramas, as they call them.
Oh, it's not soap anymore.
They refer to in the industry, you know, I think, if I'm right in saying, as continuing dramas.
Oh, good for them. They've always got their head up the backside, so haven't they? Let's be honest, they take it far more serious than we do. Because all we want really is to be entertained.
Exactly, a good bit of telly. You're at work all day, you want to sit down of a night and watch something entertaining and well made, and I think Emmerdale sums that up for me. I think it's extremely well written. They do have some lovely comedy stuff in it. I mean, I love all the stuff that Marlon and Paddy has and things like that. So they do. You've got to have a little bit of light and shade, haven't you? You don't want it all grim and what have you. But also, there's going to be big storylines. You know, I was reading one of the papers saying, "Oh, you can't always keep having all these big, huge disasters." But at the end of the day, that's what, you know, soaps do. There's got to be a big event, and as long as they're not too outlandish, i.e., aliens landing and taking major characters off the planet, then, you know, the viewers can go along with it. So and I think that's what Emmerdale's just got the pitch right, personally.
What's it like living here and being here?
I've only been here for 6 weeks, coming up to 7 weeks. I'm absolutely loving it. I got the hang of the Loop Road. Took a week or two.
Good for you.
Had to send out for supplies after 17 times now. But I've got that one sus now. I had one day off a couple of weeks ago and I took my daughter and we went to Whitby. That was lovely. Had the best fish and chips I've ever had in my life, which is saying something, 'cause I've had some fish and chips over the years. And I can't get over how welcoming everyone's been and just really, really nice and kind. And the people I meet when I'm out shopping and what have you, not just store detectives. I've stopped doing all that nonsense now. Just people in the oh yeah, no, I've stopped it now. I'm regularly earning money, so I've had to stop it. But everyone's just been so lovely and welcoming, and I've been to some lovely restaurants, and so I want to do a little bit more exploring now. When I get another day off, I haven't been to Harrogate yet. I wanted to go there, but it was a Sunday and it was absolutely heaving, and everyone said, "You've got to go to Betty's Tea Rooms." Anyway, there was a queue from Betty's Tea Rooms to Cardiff that day, so that weren't going to happen. And also I want to go to York. I've not been to York yet, but so I'm very ignorant, like a lot of people down south. I didn't know how beautiful the county was, but I'm determined to see some of it, yes.
Everybody who comes on to this programme to talk about Emmerdale says, "Oh, it's friendly." Is that just showbiz nonsense, or are they genuinely welcoming?
The majority of times people say that. It is absolute showbiz nonsense. There might be someone, there's usually someone, in any office block, there's always someone drives you mad or you can't stand the sight of. Sorry to say, no, there isn't on Emmerdale. It really is exactly as everyone has already said to you in the past. I was made to feel so welcome. It's a very different way of working to what I'm used to, because at any one time there are 4 different directors doing 16 different episodes on all different days. So you have to work out what day you're in, doing what scene with what director and all that. So it's a hard thing to master.
And that won't necessarily be in the same order, will it, as the programme?
No, it's all over the place. And then sometimes you can be out at the village or you can be in the studio and you think you've just got one scene in the studio. In fact, there's 2 studios working at the same time. They help you as much as they possibly can, everyone on production, but at the end of the day, as a grown-up, you still have to work out where you're meant to be and what scene you're doing.
Pauline, are they paying you well? I worry about you because you deserve to be paid at least £1 million a year, because, I mean, all this work for a lady at your time of life, let's face it, you know, you should be having the good life now, shouldn't you?
Oh, I know, yeah, I had a hip replacement last year, you know. But can I just say, I've wangled the comfortable stool in the wall pack.
Have you?
Yeah. I sussed that. I tell you, ours cockneys, you don't get nothing over on ours. There's one that's got a little back to it, and if you get on set first, of course the director's saying, "Oh, Pauline, how professional, you're always first on set." I'm thinking it's only because I'm going to grab the comfortable stool. So yeah, I've got the comfortable stool, that's sorted out. Now they're looking after me very, very well. We get fresh fruit put in the green room, and
let me make a note of this. So what should I be demanding? So fresh fruit.
I don't know.
Fresh fruit, yeah.
White gardenias in your dressing room.
Yes.
Puppies.
Yeah, puppies.
Was it Mariah Carey or whatever? Who's the one I wanted? Mariah Carey, one of them.
When do you remember becoming funny? Were you always funny?
Well, I think my teachers would have said when I was a kid, yeah, I was a bit too funny for my own good. I mean, I do agree with you about comedy. It's all about timing. And it is really, it truly is, and that's something, because we did so many episodes of Birds.
Can I nick that one off you?
It's yours. Go on, you have it.
I'll do that 3 times next week.
Also, because you have a studio audience coming in, there's no point you might have a funny line coming up. There's no point carrying on if the audience has started laughing at something prior to that. So you'd have to listen to the audience and time it, and that over the years, obviously, of doing Birds for 10 years, then you're going to get better at it. But comedy is all about time. And I went and saw Michael McIntyre last week, and he was absolutely brilliant. And dealing with the audience and all what have you. And stand up. I mean, I could never do stand up, not in a million years. That'd be my idea of hell. But the people that are good at it, my goodness me, I've got take my hat off to them. It's fantastic.
But what's the difference? Because when you're learning your lines for Birds or for this or whatever, it's still material. I think that Michael does it in the same. I mean, it's still a monologue, isn't it? At the end of the day.
As far as Hazel's concerned on Emmerdale, they have written some smashing stuff for her. I mean, there's some really, really good dialogue. And hopefully, as I say, you just give it the natural rhythm that you kind of put to it, sort of thing. And there's hardly been any changes that we've had to do to it. So I really don't know. I mean, let's be honest, what's funny, it's such a kind of, some people are on telly and my daughter thinks they're brilliant and I don't, and vice versa. So it's one of those things.
And the thing is, it can't be too edgy. I mean, Emmerdale's cosy, isn't it? I mean, they push the boundaries with some of the stories, but you're not there to offend. I think some of the other soaps have tried that, Hollyoaks and even EastEnders now. It's really not about that. It's about community and it's about people, isn't it?
I think the people that make these programmes have got a certain responsibility, and I'm putting on my parents' hat here. At the end of the day, it is 7:00 of an evening, and at the moment, Emmerdale have got the drug story regarding young Holly, and I think that's got to be done in a responsible way. But also they're going to show the misery and all what have you that what happens when there's drugs involved. So I think that it's a kind of even Stevens thing sort of thing, and I think they've handled that particularly well.
I'm known for being shocking, and I'm going to say something to you now, and I don't want to offend you, because if you were to leave at this point, the bosses would be upset because they're all out there waiting for you to say, "Oh, wasn't he wonderful?"
Okay. Hang on.
Are you okay?
Yeah,
Have a swig of your cup of tea. I grew up.
It is lovely as
nice.
well. Absolutely gorgeous.
Isn't that amazing? You get a cup of tea. Nothing. They've brought me nothing this side of the desk. I grew up watching you on Birds of the Feather, and if you're easily offended, please switch off now, because I don't want to offend you. But I have to admit, Leslie Joseph did turn me on a little bit.
That's okay.
Is that all right?
That's absolutely fine. I don't think you were alone in that.
No?
No. She's a bit of old vixen, weren't she, Leslie?
Yes. But a bit scary.
The young lads, and within reason, obviously, not too young. Ooh. That would be nice. But it's good that you're actually kind of coming out with that.
Yeah,
now.
I felt like I needed a bit of, on-air counselling from you. I'm glad that's okay.
Yeah, no, that's
we can
fine.
move on.
Yeah, that's
I
okay.
genuinely love that programme. I never missed an episode. I tell you why. As a kid growing up, it was a bit naughty, but it was still within the boundaries, and I could get away watching it, and my mum and dad had let me watch it. But there was always that overtone of something muckier going on behind the scenes.
I think definitely there was saucy little bits in it and what have you, but the way I always looked at it, your child either understood what we were saying or they didn't. It went straight over their head. If they went straight over their head, then no harm done, really, and if they got the joke or what the kind of little bit of rhyming slang might have meant, then they knew the word anyway. And I can't say there was anything particularly offensive that I wouldn't let my daughter, she's 25 now, that I wouldn't have let my child watch at the time. I think they did know it was quite saucy and we were a little bit naughty, but it was all in the best possible taste.
That kismet doesn't happen very often with a sitcom, does it? Where it works and could work again. I'm going to ask you the question that everybody asks you. And I know Leslie, she was on the programme just a few weeks ago at Chelsea, and I had to ask her then, when are you coming back with it? And she still has a belief one day it will be recreated. What do you think?
Well, first and foremost, we've never been asked. We've never actually been asked to get back together and do it again. So it's rude to kind of, assume that we will, unless we're actually asked by the BBC. I personally think we quit when we did. We did 101 episodes. We did it for 10 years, and it was very much of its time. If they came up with a really good idea where these 3 women are now in their lives, and it was such a good idea, yeah, of course, we'd love to get together again because we had a great time. But you've also got to be aware sometimes you've got to know when enough's enough. And I think we quit at the right time. And because we quit when we did, people still really love it and talk about it, and maybe if we'd gone on and on and
but
on.
What about Doreen coming in the wool pack or something? She doesn't need to say anything. Just wear a really... No, you don't like that idea?
You could You could have Leslie just in the background. I don't know, just walk past the window or something.
She could wear one of those belt skirts again, a couple of inches, and just mince in and mince out. Nobody would notice.
Well, exactly. Who's to say? Yeah, we try and wangle Linda in a pub. Mind you, Linda don't like countryside. She never has it. Brings her out in hives. So you won't get her up here. When I said to her, you're coming up for a girly weekend, she went, no, last time I was up there, Yorkshire Ripples on the press. I think you're all right now, Lynn. I think he's put away.
Look, we're going to come back with our remaining moments with Pauline Quirke next, the star of Emmerdale. There's no question. I've got so much to get to next. We'll take a piece of music and we'll be back with Pauline Quirke. I want to go to a few things that you've done other than Emmerdale. I mean, Celeb MasterChef you did, and you did very well. And again, your tongue's firmly in your cheek a lot of the time, and that gets you through bad times, doesn't it?
I didn't do terribly well. I got as far as the first bit, but I loved it, Alex. I love cooking, and for me, that was my idea of heaven, and to go off to the professional kitchen and all whatever. And I did, except I had a bit of a mistake. When they show you the table full of all this stuff and you've got 50 minutes to cook a meal, there was a little bit of a hiccup when I didn't actually know what it was. A mango, apparently. I didn't even know what it was. I've only ever seen them sliced in Sainsbury's and whatever you say. They had to tell me it was a mango. But no, that to me was good fun. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm. Moving on to stage fright, I was reading in your notes that you get very, very nervous before you go on stage. Is it the same when you go before camera, or is that a totally different thing?
It's slightly different. I'm still slightly anxious in front of the camera, but it's the audience that gets me in a state. And when we were doing Birds, I would be physically sick before every episode. And I still obviously have nerves when I'm doing stuff, but at the back of your mind, if it goes wrong, you've got a chance to go again, which of course you have in the studio with the audience. But the seats in the studios are particularly uncomfortable. The poor audience have probably already been in a coach for 2 hours to get to you. You don't want to kind of overstay your welcome, so we try not to make as many mistakes as possible. But yes, I do suffer with nerves, but I don't think that's a bad thing. That's all right to have a few nerves.
You've had so many great hits over the years, and the thing is, you make it look so easy. How much of an actress are you? Because the greats, it seems like it's almost in you, and it's just an extension of you. Do you take that as a compliment?
Absolutely.
Because it's meant as one.
People say to me, "Oh, it's like you're not acting," but I am. That I suppose what I try to achieve is to make it as believable as possible. And there's certain. I mean, I've got children's drama academies up down the country now. We've got over 1,000 children at them, but that's what I'm trying to get across to the children. It's about making it believable, So yeah, that's to me that is a real compliment, and that people come and say hello to me in the street and whatever and talk and just say, especially up here, they've been really much more chilled. They just go, "Oh, hi, I hope you're having a good time," and then get on with their lives, not kind of go mad. So yeah, I think for it to come across that I'm actually not acting, that I am just sitting at the Woolpack having a chat with whoever the character I'm with is a huge compliment. Thank you very much. You
talk about the interest in you being up here. Do you have the News of the World poking their lens through your letterbox and things like that? Do you get harassed?
No. I mean, we have some photographers outside the studios, but I think they're there on a daily basis sort of thing, and they're just snapping people going in and out. No one's taken a blind bit of notice of me, which is lovely. And I've managed to be in all the supermarkets. I've been Crown Point, Sainsbury's, Costco. I'm thrilled I'm living near Costco. So everyone's just been really polite, well mannered. They'll come up and say hello and say, "Oh, I hope you're having a good time in Yorkshire, you've been well looked after." And as I say, the whole northern hospitality thing, I'd never quite understood it until I've actually been up here, and it's just been amazing.
So glad to meet you at last, because you're one of those people, if you don't mind me saying, who embraces what you do and you're proud of it. I hate those actresses who try and say, "Oh no, I was never in Birds of a Feather. It was a very small part of my career, and then I went to the RSC, and then we had a lovely time, and nobody's ever heard of the things you've done since." You are proud of it, and that's nice.
Yeah, I love telly. I'm an avid telly viewer, and the things that I've done over the years, are the things that I'd watch, if you know what I mean. Even if I weren't in them, they're the kind of things that I'd like to watch. So because I love telly, I know actors that don't even really watch telly, and I don't understand that. As I say, I love my telly.
Pauline Quirke, I love you very much. Thanks for coming on.
I love you too, Alex. God bless. Thank you.